Alright, we're going on an adventure south of Taviuni to the island of Yacata with a Monzi Y and ocean soldiers. It's a beautiful place with pristine beaches, dogs, and truly the definition of paradise. With a beautiful base camp, natural waterfalls, large fish right offshore, sharks, all interacting as one. In the waterfall, they enjoy the oxygen rich, and it creates one of the most amazing land-based fishing places in the world. GTs, blue trevally, all within casting reach. Follow me, and we're gonna go on an adventure. There's camp, little kingfisher on the tree. On a little mission. Been doing a lot of these shore-based missions. Winds up at our back. Got the dog. Oh, what is that? Big permit or something. Sick! I'm dropping now where I found an abundance of life, and I'm dropping on the outside so I do not disturb the fish, and I'm going to nestle up next to a ledge. And as I approach, I see something I've never seen before in my life. Garden eels, hundreds of them, sticking their head out of the sand. The dark black midnight snappers hovering above what I assume is their home. Some moo come into the picture in the right, and eventually this young Maori sea perch will come in to check me out, see what I'm all about. In the school you'll see the midnights, there'll be some red bass and even a mangrove jack in this diverse school of fish, before eventually the whole school of Maori sea perch come in. And this is the biggest school of Maori sea perch I've ever seen. And I mean, for one breath, this is one of my favorite dives I think I've ever done in my life. And I was just truly stoked. This next dive is a fish I've never seen before. I wasn't even quite sure what it is. You might see the dark object swimming in front. I'm kind of tailing it, and I'm going to use a technique that I have found to work the best here in Fiji. Find a nice spot to go lay on the bottom, try to avoid any live coral, and find some sand that I can toss up to attract these fish. You'll see sand falling from the parrotfish in the distance. And this trick works. The fish does a U-turn and starts to approach me, coming in range. With my triple C spear gun, I take the shot. I believe this is my first rusty job fish, and it's quite crazy how close to the shore I am, as you see when I come up to the surface. Like I said, it's a fish I've never seen before. It looked like my first iron jaw, and I was stoked through the moon. Came up pink before it eventually turned dark. And yeah, after some research, I found out this was my first small tooth jobfish, which is a fish I never really knew about until I did my research. I was diving by myself, not something I recommend, but sometimes you just gotta go or else you won't go diving at all. Been waiting a long time for this one. Rusty jobfish. Woo. Hey, so good. How about that? Woo. Here's a Monzi Y in all its glory. Let's go fishing. Hooked up to my first bluefin trevally. There's a little bit of doggy action.
Wind down, lift the rod, wind down. Oh, dropped it. Go, keep going. I think it might have been upgraded. It's coming up. Keep it, babe, keep it going. Nice one. Wind down. Yeah, that's it. Keep going like that. Coming up. Nice doggy. Easy.
No, just get it to me.
Okay, over the bail on. Bail on. Yep.
That is your first doggy?
Okay.
Well done.
So you're going to squeeze real hard on your right there. Woohoo.
Yeah.
Oh, doggy, big doggy under him. Oh.
Yeah. Go.
Big doggy.
Let's drop it down again. Is that a doggy there?
Yeah, huge doggy.
Pull him out. Pull this thing out. Pull him out. Dig back down.
That's perfect size. Bro, that was a big doggy.
Drop.
There he is, right there. Look. So here we are again, laying on the bottom, just waiting for the fish to come into range. A few white-tip sharks circling me. Not a great threat. And eventually these move, turn the corner on my left. Do everything I can not to look at them. Dinner sorted. On this dive you'll see several move, but I plan on going for something a little bit different. I use my sand technique to bring them in, which brings the moo in and also gains the attraction of snappers like this midnight coming in. Can't move too fast.
Ever seen one of these, the Midnights? Yeah, bro, they live in big schools right by the reef, and they live in caves and stuff. They're really quite tasty. It's yeah, and they got like wicked teeth that like shoot outwards.
After any long day, there's nothing better than a braai on the beach with your friends. A moo, pumpkin, and buttered sweet chili sauce. So we're going to go on a very unique hike to the top of Yacata, the island you can see in the distance right here. So with proper weather, we go on a hike with our bush dog and our local guides. Charlie's here, nice enough to grab some coconuts to keep us hydrated in the heat. So on this hike, we're going to go visit a Tongan burial ground from when Ma'afu, a Tongan prince and so-called chief of Fiji, came and conquered most of the Lau Islands and wanted to come here to Yacata, but they decided they wanted to go straight to Taveuni to fight their chief. And some of the people from Yacata snuck to Taveuni to tell them that they were on their way, and the Tongans were defeated. So Taveuni and Yacata were never conquered by the Tongans, and here are the remains of some of their warriors that fell and their sailboat. This is only some of the mystique of Amanziwai and Yacata Island, a place you surely have to check out if you ever get to Fiji.